So, a lot of government conspiracy theories have become popular recently, ranging from the Chinese government purposely spreading the coronavirus to the American government installing microchips in their own citizens via vaccines. Despite the fact that major conspiracy theories like these usually involve the perfect execution of extremely convoluted actions in total secrecy on a massive scale, I'm often tempted to give some of them some plausibility, because, horrifying conspiracy theories do turn out to be true sometimes. But then I remember that for every successful government conspiracy, there's a 10-minute YouTube video worth of interesting failures. After all, this is the government we're talking about here. Anyway, today I'm going to introduce to you guys two of the ones I found most interesting. Failed assassination attempts on Fidel Castro, such as using his ex-lover to poison him with pills and putting tuberculosis bacteria in his scuba diving suit, are already pretty well known as far as assassination attempts go. So I wanted to present to you guys something a little different, the character assassination attempts on Castro. I personally like to believe that the same guy in the CIA who was in charge of all the ridiculous assassination attempts decided to tone down only because he'd fail anyway, and failing in a character assassination sounds better than failing in real ones. Anyway, one of them involved dusting his shoes with thallium salts in order to, and I quote, destroy Castro's image as the beard. The plan was to be executed during one of Castro's planned trips outside of Cuba. They were going to wait for him to put his shoes outside the door of his hotel room for shining, then apply the salts. The CIA even tested the chemical on animals in preparation of the plan. Everything was ready and set to go. The CIA would finally be able to show the Cubans who Castro really was: a ruthless authoritarian, a warmonger, an oppressor of the free press, and yet another 20th century dictator that failed to join the ranks of Hitler and Stalin in having memorable facial hair. And then Castro canceled the trip. By the way, this is all revealed in an official interim report by the Church Committee, the same committee that revealed more conspiracy-y government conspiracies like MKUltra. But let me re-emphasize, the CIA wanted to take away Castro's beard to hurt his public image. Now I'm left to wonder if there were any attempts to cure Gorbachev's birthmark or Kim Il-sung's obesity or take away JFK's youthly charisma. The Church Committee report also mentioned that there were plans to sabotage his speeches by spraying Castro's studio with LSD-like substances and hiding disorienting chemicals in his cigars. I thought it was quite funny that they didn't try to use something more lethal than party drugs, until I realized that they did, and failed. And that's all the evidence I need to prove my hypothesis about the CIA guy that is trying to minimize his failures. Our next absurd government conspiracy on the list is something that caught my attention just by its name: Acoustic Kitty. Acoustic Kitty was a 1960s CIA project that tried using cats to spy on Soviet embassies in American soil. The feline spy would have a microphone and radio transmitter implanted in its head, and it would be trained to walk up to unsuspecting communists in order to record their conversations. The first mission was targeted at two men having a conversation in a park outside the Soviet embassy of Washington, D.C. Now, it's a little awkward to say what happened with my own words, so I'll quote directly instead. They put the cat out of the van, and a taxi comes and runs him over. There they were, sitting in the van with all those dials, and the cat was dead. This abruptly made the experiment extremely unfunny to me since I'm a cat owner. But I did more research, and thankfully I found out that the story is heavily disputed. The taxi story comes from one Victor Marchetti, who has this title, but Robert Wallace, who has this title, claimed otherwise, saying that the Acoustic Kitty was not killed by getting run over by a taxicab, and that the equipment was taken out of the cat. The cat was re-sewn for a second time and lived a long and happy life afterwards. Now, I'm no expert on CIA titles, but Rob sounds more credible to me, and I like to believe his story for my sake anyways. But who knows, maybe Robert was spreading American propaganda to one-up Acoustic Kitty's counterpart, Laika. Anyway, whether the cat survived or not, the first mission was unsuccessful and the project made little progress afterwards. Acoustic Kitty met its end in 1967, burning 20 million tax dollars. To end this segment, I'll quote from the closing memorandum on this project from the CIA. Subject: Views on trained cats. We have satisfied ourselves that it is indeed possible, redacted. This is in itself a remarkable scientific achievement. Knowing that cats can indeed be trained to move short distances, redacted, we see no reason to believe that a redacted cat cannot be similarly trained to approach redacted. Again, however, the environmental and security factors in using this technique in a real foreign situation force us to conclude that, for our redacted purposes, it would not be practical. As a side note, researching for this project sent me down a rabbit hole of reading about other attempts to use animals for intelligence gathering, which included ravens, pigeons, dolphins, and even mosquitoes. Maybe I'll make a video about that someday.